Good afternoon. Welcome to the first advisor forum for the fall 2025 semester. My name is Ross Hawkins. I'm the director of the Academic Advising and Transfer Center. Welcome everyone to today's forum. If you do wish to receive Master Advisor credit, please enter your name and your department in the chat feature. I do want to let everyone know that today's advisor forum is being recorded, so please feel free to share this information with your colleagues who are unable to join us today. It will be posted on the Mo State Advising YouTube channel within the next 1 to 2 weeks, hopefully closer to a week. A couple announcements before we get started with the forum. I did want to mention that today is the last day to register for the MACADA conference, the Missouri Academic Advising Association conference. Missouri State University is hosting the conference this Friday, September 12th. It is an all-day conference. It will begin at 9 a.m. and end at 4 p.m. You will receive Master Advisor credit for attending that conference. There is a fee associated with it. So if you look at the advisor forum schedule, there'll be more information there on the MACADA conference. But it is a wonderful opportunity and a unique opportunity since Missouri State's hosting it this year. Our next advisor forum, Hazing 101 and Your Role in Prevention, will be a seated advisor forum on Monday, September 29th from 12 to 1 in the Plaster Student Union, room 313. The presenters for that advisor forum are Jeff Mitchell, our Associate General Counsel, as well as Gabby Catlin, Director of Student Conduct. So again, welcome to today's advisor forum on Atlas. I know I am excited for you all to see what so many people have been working really hard on over the last several months to bring to you all to really help us in what we do in student success, help with our advising, help in a variety of ways. So it is really exciting that we're able to get this information out to you today. I am going to now turn it over to Dr. Kelly Wood and Teresa McCoy, who will introduce us to Atlas before we do a live demo. Kelly and Teresa.
Well, hi, everyone. My name's Kelly Wood. I serve as Associate Provost for Student Success on the Springfield campus. I'll hand it over to Teresa.
Hello, I'm Teresa McCoy. I'm the Deputy CIO, and I'm so proud and happy to be representing the IT staff today.
Yep. And so Teresa and I are going to give you just a couple of preliminary comments before we have you see the demo. I'm excited for that. And I did want to say I see West Plains is in the house. So welcome to you all, and we're excited to have you here because this is our system and it's shared between Springfield and West Plains. So with that, I am going to start some slides for us just to get us on the same page. And I want to make sure that you all can see my screen okay. Yes, are we seeing the slides? Okay, wonderful. Yep. So Atlas stands for Advising Toolkit for Learning and Academic Success. And while we have that as an acronym, we're really calling it Atlas, but that's what was the driving force behind the name. We feel like it's got a great kind of story behind it in terms of roadmaps to success and pathways and navigation of information. So that's a little bit about that. And also, this is really a longer term process that started over a year ago that we had some interest on developing or purchasing a student success platform from an outside vendor. And after that process, the committee that reviewed that, which was both Springfield and West Plains, we decided to recommend that we do a custom system. And so I did want to talk about that as the next slide to give you a little bit of background. Why did we develop a custom system?
Sorry to interrupt. Kelly, can you click on continue to share?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I thought once I do that once, it would work. Appreciate it. we got two great demos from vendors, and the feedback that we got at those sessions from a lot of you who are probably on the screen was we really like what we're doing with advising notes, registration release, and other things. And so because we had had a long-standing relationship with West Plains through a Title III grant, and learned between both campuses and supporting success coaches, we could build our own because we had built one really associated with the Title III grant. So the items on this screen is why we really wanted to develop our own. So we know that it's we have a great format that was already a lot of custom developed systems from our computer services area. We wanted to keep that familiarity and add some enhancements. Of course, the value of working with West Plains was really significant, and their integration was a huge, really feather in our cap as a system to begin to work together on this project. And so think about it just from a transfer student perspective that would be coming from West Plains to Springfield campus. Their system that they're advising will look the same as when they come to Springfield campus, and just the ability to see for Springfield staff West Plains student information. We have also included some additional enhancements, but the real goal has been to focus on the holistic student. So you'll see in some of the information that we've got here, really that we're enhancing this by bringing in other offices on campus to provide student notes and to have them contribute what they're learning from their students, so that when an advisor or another staff member reads those notes, they can understand what the student is doing in terms of their broader experience. So hand it off to Teresa.
I get the good slide because I get to say thank you to all the people who have been working tirelessly to make this happen. So we have the steering team, which you can read their names there, and it represents a broad swath across campus, both campuses. If you have questions, comments, you want to talk to someone about it, these are your people. Pick one that you know and have a conversation. They're always happy to talk about it. Of course, we have the feedback forms, but if you just want a personal conversation, they're the ones. On the left, you'll see who we want to thank from the IT staff. As you can see, there are many. There's been a lot of hands doing a lot of work. Melissa Warren gets the greatest kudos for being the lead designer and systems analyst over this project. And Brian is here as well. So a lot of work has gone into this. They are fired up. There's a lot more work to be done. And so we have a great path forward.
All right. This is a real quick slide just to let you all know what the card is in My Missouri State to be able to navigate to Atlas. So you have two ways. You can do the Atlas card or the faculty and advisor resource card. And as you'll notice in the top right-hand corner of each of these cards, there is a little banner that's blackened in, and that's a favorite banner, so that when you want to see certain things on your screen and not have to search for it all the time, when you click that banner or that ribbon, it will put that on your home page. And so that's why those are highlighted, so that you can do that with yours as well. This is just a quick summary of the key features that we want you to be aware of. I'm not going to spend time on all of them, but you will hear about them in the demo, whether it's the enhanced student search, the fact that we're using one system on two campuses, your student lists are smarter, that you can customize certain elements of your view in Atlas, and that we're developing some student insights that is kind of a next phase of our progress on this project.
A few more things that we really want you to know is that if you had access to advising notes or student information menu before, you should have access to Atlas. If you don't, open a ticket and we'll be happy to get that corrected. It wasn't exactly a one-to-one, so we found some people who have needed to have access granted after we rolled live. It's also important that you understand that all the data from advising notes is in Atlas. So don't worry that historical information is gone. I have to start over. It's all there. And it looks identical to how it did. You should also know that for those of you who used to use the student information menu, that was a banner supplied form. Lucian, the vendor, is taking that away as of October 1. So instead of going there, you will be going to Atlas. The bottom or the second to the bottom tab is other applications. And that's where you'll find all the links that you used to find on student information menu. But I think you'll find it's more convenient to get to it via Atlas. Atlas has just been rolled out to production. We just started it last fall. It was released September 1. So it has a lot of functionality, but we have a lot of plans of things we're going to do in the future as well. But we have a good foundation for lots of growth.
This slide is to give you information on where to get help and where to help us. So we want you to be an Atlas Pro. There's a link here. You can find that link in a lot of other places, but basically you can go to this for help information, technical tips, features. The individual features are described. We've got an FAQ page that will help you with some specific questions that you might have. And then there's also a link to the feedback form. So that feedback form and that documentation link is on every page of Atlas. So as you're working on something and you would like to tell us how much you love it, tell us that in a ticket. But if you have a bug or an error, please let us know and we will follow up on that with you directly. So those are our basic introductory comments for you all to get a sense of the background and the foundation. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Beth Perrine. She is one of our many awesome steering team members, and we are going to do our demo.
Thanks a lot, Kelly. My name is Beth Perrine, and I'm an academic counselor and assistant director at the Dr. Mary Jo Wynn Academic Achievement Center. And I get to talk about what you'll see when you click on Atlas, basically. The very first thing I want everybody to know about is our toggle feature. You can have a light or dark mode. I actually prefer the dark mode. Can't tell you why, but I do. And then when you're searching for someone, the search is really very helpful. You can use their M number, first name, last name. You can use an email address, and you will find somebody very quickly. Right away, Boomer Bear is coming up, and we appreciate that. Thanks, Ross. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the left-hand side of as soon as you see Atlas, the things that you'll see on the left side of the screen. You'll see a photo. We don't get to see Boomer right here, but you'll see a photo, and I really appreciate that very much. You'll have a point to click on date of birth. Our information security team recommended that we keep the date of birth behind a link, so that we've done that as well. And then we just move on down for contact information. You can click on email and Outlook will pop up and you're ready to go, or you can do as I like to do and just copy that email. Everybody likes to do that a little differently, and I prefer to copy the email. If the student has provided a phone number, that phone number will be placed right there. I have never tried to call Boomer, but I just might. We don't know. And then we have some badges that we have attached. Each student may or may not have a badge attached to this link right here. Our badges include our athletes, our veterans, our honor students, and then our international students. And since Boomer is not an international student, Boomer does not get that badge. The only other thing I'd like to say is that when you search for someone under date of birth, there might be another thing saying additional information. If Boomer had a given name and not just his chosen name or her chosen name, we don't really ever know. The given name would be under additional information. Sometimes students just like to prefer to be called by their chosen name. And I think that's what I have. And I will pass it on to Ross.
Okay, thanks, Beth. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time just talking about these tabs on the left. I'm going to start with student summary. However, I did want to mention you can favorite which tabs you use most often. And when you do that, it will actually rise to the top. So for me, I've already clicked on student summary, actions, and notes to be my 3 favorites, and those are the ones that are going to display as the top options anytime I log into Atlas. So that's a great custom feature for all of us who may use Atlas in a variety of ways. So again, I will start with student summary. And as a reminder, we're looking here at Boomer Bear. You will see first an academic summary. For those of you familiar with the legacy system, you may remember how there was an advising notes data block. And before you actually could see all the advising notes listed for the student, there would be a data block that would have basic student information. Well, again, the left side that Beth just described, this is going to remain in place regardless of which tab that you click on. So that's one of the great things about Atlas is this is going to be a constant for you. But I like to think of this student summary as a lot of the information that was in that advising notes data block. So again, you will see an academic summary. It will list the advisor for Boomer as well as the calendar link, the booking link. So this is something that students are going to be able to see as well. So again, if you are using an online booking platform, please know that your link can be shared on this student summary. And again, students could click on this to schedule an appointment. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have an online booking platform, a scheduler, and I would be happy to get that link added in for you. It will also show the undergraduate Missouri State and cumulative overall GPA. As we continue to investigate Boomer, look into Boomer, this is Boomer's first semester at Missouri State, so there isn't yet an MSU GPA, but the overall GPA is a 3.14. This is also where it will list whether Boomer is part of the general education program or Core 42. So again, that was something as advisors very important for us to know which program to advise a student on. If the student has a pre-professional indicator, it will be listed in this academic summary area. So for Boomer, pre-vet medicine, again, not all students will have pre-professional indicators. This is also where you can see a declared graduation term as well as last term attended. And again, for Boomer, Boomer is a student in fall 2025. Next, as I scroll down, looking at academic programs, you can see that Boomer, appropriately so, is a wildlife conservation and management major in the College of Agriculture. And Boomer is also pursuing a minor in biology. If Boomer had declared any certificates, those certificates would be listed right here. Next, this gives us kind of a snapshot of registration information. So it shows here, you still will be able to access registration status. So for those of you wondering that custom feature is still available, but this just is another place to get a quick snapshot on registration information. So here I can see that Boomer can register for the spring 2026 semester beginning on November 17th. And it will also show who released Boomer to register in the fall semester, as well as if Boomer needs an advisor release to register for spring 26, as well as summer 26. So again, that's just kind of a quick summary of Boomer. Next, we'll talk about actions and notes. Now, this is, again, one thing that is different than the legacy system, but as someone who has used the legacy system for many years and now I'm using Atlas, this is actually something that I've grown to really appreciate. So when you think of actions, that's where you as an advisor go to take action, whether that's to write an advising note, attach a document to an advising note, or release a student to register. So any action that you're going to take is now going to be part of this Actions tab. So again, you can see this is where you would go to grant the release for spring 2026. And this is where you also go to create a new advising note. We are able to continue to upload files to an advising note. So you can do that as well as list the attachment type. And this is where you'll go to save the note. As a reminder, it defaults to email student. I encourage you to leave that. I think it's important for a student to get an email notification letting them know that an advising note has been created. You can also email the student's advisor. So if I'm meeting with a student that's considering a change of major and that student has an advisor assigned to them in the College of Business Advisement Center, I can click on this and it will email the student's advisor. And then you can also choose if you wish to email me. So if I wanted to get a notification that the student has an advising note, after I enter it, I would receive an email saying that it's been entered. Please feel free to reach out to me as you've done previously anytime that there needs to be a correction or an edit to an advising note, as well as if one ever gets posted on the wrong student, please send me an email and I'm happy to edit or delete that advising note. Next, I'm going to talk about notes. And again, if you notice on the tab, they're called notes and not advising notes. There is a reason why it's now called notes. And the reason is you can have multiple offices and individuals participating in this notes area. So again, as Kelly and Teresa mentioned in the intro, this more holistic type of support for students. This was something that we really had wanted when we were looking at the vendors, and we realized, we could do this best ourselves, knowing that we at Missouri State know what we need. We know all those different areas that participate in the advising process. And so now there's different ways that you can look at notes. So you can filter newest first, and you can see that I entered a note for Boomer this morning. And you'll also notice that it shows what category it's in. So for me as an academic advisor, I'm tagged as an academic advisor. That's why it's going to show any note that I make as an academic advisor. As you continue to scroll down, you can see that the different categories. So education abroad could write an advising note. Financial aid. Now, again, this is going to be, again, as Kelly and Teresa indicated, there are going to be multiple phases to Atlas. So this may not mean that starting today or tomorrow, you're going to start seeing notes from the financial aid office or from the career center or from education abroad. However, this system now makes it possible. So as we continue to implement additional phases to Atlas, we're going to continue to onboard more campus representatives in order to really get to that holistic advising approach. And once we do have multiple offices participating in the notes area, I did want you to know that you may not want to scroll through all those different advising notes. So there is a feature that allows you to just look at notes by me. And then once you click on that, it would just pull in the notes that you created. You could also choose a particular area. So maybe I am in financial aid and I just want to see notes in the category of financial aid. You would click on that and that would just, it would bring up financial aid notes. Same thing, academic advisor. This would pull up notes from any individual on campus who is categorized as an academic advisor. So that's the difference between academic advisor and notes by me. So if I wanted to look at all notes created by any academic advisor on campus, I would click on that. Notes by me would just pull in the notes that I've made for the student, for Boomer. And then finally, the last thing that I am going to chat about, two more things here, the academic changes and academic indicators. So academic changes, this is going to show the term and any change made to the academic status for Boomer. So think of this as changes to academic programs, majors, minors, certificates, changes to advisors. So again, as Boomer changes majors, different advisors will be assigned to Boomer. Also, for those of you who work with graduate students for accelerated graduate programs, this is where you will go to see if a student has been admitted into an accelerated program. And that's, again, something different because previously in the advising notes data block, you would have current term and future term. Like probably many of you on this Zoom call, that was confusing. So this is a clear way for us to understand when a student has been admitted into an accelerated graduate program. And the last thing I will mention before I turn it over to Yvonne would be the academic indicators. So again, this is one of those other areas, other tabs that I like to refer to as a snapshot. So you will see, again, what's typically posted on the transcript at the bottom where it just lists the different GPAs. You'll see that here in academic indicators. You would also see any type of academic standing summary. So when you think of academic standing, hopefully we're seeing a lot of good standing, but this is also where you would view if a student's been on academic probation, academic suspension, or reinstated, suspended, return on probation, things like that, or terms like that would fall into this academic standing summary. And this is also where you can go to look at placement scores. So you can see here that Boomer had an ACT score. And so this shows placement for English as well as math. Okay, next, I'm going to turn it over to Yvonne.
Thanks, Ross.
Yeah.
So I'm Yvonne Bird. I am a senior academic advisor in the McCreary College of Health and Human Services Student Success and Advisement Center. And I've been thrilled to be on this committee. I want to tell you the development team is pretty awesome. All of us have been pretty awesome. So I want to give credit to everybody that's worked on this. I am going to start talking about the support team first. So the support team, this is a list of people that are assigned to help the student be successful. So obviously their major advisor would be here. If they have a minor advisor or somebody for their certificate, all of that information will be here as well. Honors College, International Services, Veterans Office, success coaches, that's where you will find that. And if you want to know who specifically are the support team roles, you can click on the link there and it gives you a nice description of who would be a support or a potential support team person. So that's where you can find lots of information. If they have a calendar booking link, it also shows up here. So that's handy to be able to contact them if you need to reach out to them for some reason. The student schedule is the next thing. Now, this came about because the student concise schedule is going away. And so we asked if we could have some sort of way to see the schedule. So this is a work in progress, and they know that we want a couple other things added. So like credit hours, we want that on there, and we want start and stop dates on there. But they put this together for us really quickly, and I'm very thankful for that. So at least we have a way to look at the schedule. I think it also shows they're in 2 classes if it has 2 professors or if it has 2 locations, but we're working on that, and just know this is a great start to something that's going to replace that student's concise schedule going forward. All right, Ross, let's go to the other applications. This is where you're going to find many of the things that you previously found on the student information menu or in the legacy system. And one of my favorite features on here is the DegreeWorks button, because when you click on that, it goes directly to the student's degree audit. So I don't have to get their M number and open DegreeWorks and then find them that way. This goes directly to their degree audit. And I think this relates to a comment I saw in the chat. Once in a while, when you click on the links in the other applications, it will go to someone else, but that almost always only happens if you have opened another Atlas link and you had searched for somebody else previously. Whoever you searched for last is going to show up here. So you want to try to make sure you only have one Atlas open, and that whoever you search for last is who you're looking for in that other application menu. And then you won't pull up somebody else's information on that. So handy to get to the degree audit. All right, Ross, let's go back. Couple other things, the registration history, it looks a little bit different, so you might have to get used to a new look, but it still contains the same information as the previous registration history. Many of the other links are the same as well. For example, the registration status, that's going to be the same for that. And if you forget to change the term, I guess I should talk about this. That's going to take a bit, Ross. Let's go back. Yeah. So where it says choose a term at the top, you need to make sure you change that. If you want to look at somebody's spring 26 registration status, you need to select the semester here. Because if you go to the registration status and then you go to change the semester, that'll still take you to the old menu. So if you want to stay in this one, pick the semester first, and then you can go and check the registration status, and then you'll have the right semester that you're looking for there. The student week at a glance, that's another good one. They are working on this one as well. It's not quite as nice as the previous one in that you can't see the entire week, but they are working on trying to resize that, so it'll be a little handier for us when we want to look at their week at a glance as well. It looks like Boomer's going to be busy Tuesday and Thursday on his schedule. Here is also where you will find the transcripts. You can view their transcripts, look at the sortable transcripts, all of those will be there. And then the TCRP information is there as well. So all of that works just like it used to work. You click the links here and you can get the access to those transfer credit reevaluation information from there. And then my second favorite button on here is the Banner Student Profile. This is where you are going to be able to find some of the information that was previously on the student information menu. For example, if you want to find the student's address, you click on the name under the picture and their address will show up. Now, currently it is only showing their local address, but we are working on where we can put their permanent address. Specifically, we're wanting to know if they're an international student, what country are they from? How can we figure that out? So they're working on a way to put that in the system. So know that that's in the works. The other thing that you can find here is the holds. If you go to the top right corner, you'll see the little holds button there, top right. Ross, there you go. So you can find what holds they have on their account. In addition to looking on their registration status page, you can see what holds they have here. And click on that for a little bit more information to see what holds they have. So all the buttons on the left on this student profile also will work and connect you to what they're talking about there on the left. So if you are out of Atlas and you're here and you want to click on them there, you can see them, as well as you can see their registered courses are listed there. The other links not to forget are up where it says the curriculum, hours, and GPA. You can see primary, secondary, and then hours and GPA is another good one if you want to look at where they are with that information. You can see what credits they have in their GPA on there. All right, Ross, let's go back to the student list. So the last thing that I am going to talk about is the student list. So this is where you can actually see your list of advisees. So right now we have one advisee. If you were looking at my actual list, you would see 325 as of this morning. So looking at one is not nearly as daunting as looking at 325, but you can see a lot of information. If you click on Boomer's name, that will take you directly to his student profile. And then if you want to get back to the list where you left off, you just click student list again, and whatever filters you had applied or information there, you would go back to that list wherever you left off. Also on this list, if you see the headings all have little arrow buttons, you can sort based on those arrows. So for example, one I know I'm going to be using is their sequenced registration date. So if I want to be emailing my students that need to register in the first 2 weeks or the first week, then I can figure out who that is, and I can actually see have they registered because I can sort through that information. So it's really handy to have those sort buttons there. Can you scroll up a little bit, Ross? And let's go to the search by filter. So this is, you used to be able to do this in the old system, so you can do it again. So let's say we're going to do spring of 26. Can you change the term for me, Ross? And we're going to filter, and I want to filter based on who my seniors are. I don't have a lot of seniors. We better search for freshmen because Boomer's a freshman. So let's do a freshman and then go down to the bottom. And there's lots of things you can search for there, and you would submit search, and then voila, I have one. So Boomer's my freshman, but you can adjust the filters for whatever you want it to be from that. And the last thing that I want to share to talk about are the two actions over on the left. So you can email selected students. So that doesn't mean you can pick 5 students from the list you have. It means whoever's listed there, you would be emailing those students. So if you figured it out and you sorted it based on certain holds, you could email students with a certain hold, and that would create the email directly from here in Outlook for you to email to the students. The other button is the download student data button, and this will download directly into an Excel file, and it's really handy. It gives you all the headings that are currently listed there in addition to their email. So if you do want to email just particular students from the list that you have, you could get their emails sorted again in Excel and get only the emails you want to send them, the email that you want to send them. And, I think one thing that we didn't talk about yet is the reset button at the top. So if you did have a student logged in there or that you had searched for and you have another student coming, you hit the reset button, and that is going to reset who you searched for, so that you can then go back to the start and it will be blank. So there's no risk of showing other people the information from the previous student that you met with. And then the last thing I wanted, the more information and the help and feedback buttons there, that is where you're going to get more information about Atlas, or if you want to submit feedback related to a comment or a question, that would be on the next link that you would do as well. And we do welcome your feedback. Please give us lots of feedback from that. And now I am turning it over to Brian, I believe.
Yeah, thank you. That was really great. Ross, can you bring the slide deck back up, please? And I do want to say that Melissa Warren, who is a systems analyst who works for me, is on this call answering questions. She has unfortunately lost her voice, so she can't talk about all the great things that she's done with Atlas, but let me let everybody know that she is really the mastermind behind this application. She is the one that takes all of the information from the advising community and the steering committee, takes it back to the application developers, and then turns their ideas into the magic you see of Atlas. And vice versa, she takes the things that the application developers have told her and has to bring it back to the steering committee to get them to understand why we can't do something or why we have to do it slightly differently or whatever. So she's on here. If you get a chance to talk to her, thank her for the work that she's done on this. She was going to talk about these things, but I will do it since she is unable. There's basically what we're going to do with Atlas is there will be a lot of future enhancements coming up. So this is not the end. This is just the beginning. So right out of the gate, we've identified a few things that need to be changed right away. And that's what you see here on this slide. Basically, the additional contact information is going to be added. That is something that we lost in self-service SSBA, the student information menu. We're going to add a place in Atlas where you can see that information just with the click like you've done with the other things. We're also going to have a student view of the information. The students are going to be able to see basically the same things that you see here, except of course they won't be able to take actions on anything. There'll be a few other things that they won't be able to see, but they'll basically see the same view that you see when you're advising them. They'll get into their notes that way and other things that they'll be able to see. Another thing that we didn't really talk about, this is the way that advising notes works, and this is the way Atlas also works, is Atlas is designed to not be semester specific. You pull up Atlas, you see a whole view of what the student is, and then the semesters are in there as they need to be, but you can see the information for the student completely. One of the things that we ran into right away over the summer was advisors working with students who were starting in the fall. When they brought up Atlas, there was no information for their summer information. So what we're going to do with Atlas is put a block in there for the future admission information that you need to understand that a student's coming in the future and isn't here right now. So that's going to be something that we come up with right away. And then also, as several of you have seen, and we talked about at the very beginning, is the student schedule is something we're also missing in the student information menu. We added something very quickly on that. There's many things that we need to fix on that. And we also have plans to make a comprehensive student schedule replacement from the student information menu. This will include a concise view. It will also have a week at a glance and basically be a printer-friendly view for any students that need to print this off. Remember, they're going to be seeing it too. And then also have a registration history there that you'll be able to look at. So those are the things that we're committed to rolling out right away. We expect to have these completed sometime down in the fall, later in the fall, certainly before the holiday break. Ross, next slide. And I do want to reiterate here a couple of things for you all. First of all, Atlas works best with Chrome, Firefox, or Safari, basically anything that's not Edge. We are working on a process to actually fix that. It does sometimes work in Edge for technical reasons I'm not going to get into, but we're working to fix that for everybody, so that shouldn't be a problem. If you get a message that says that it can't use your login or can't connect or whatever, then try a different browser if you're using Edge. Otherwise, you can use the feedback and we can help you with it. Another thing I want to remind you, this has been said several times, this is your system. This is a system we created for the advising community and student success community at the university. I want all of you here, as many of you have done in the question or in the chat feature, take ownership of it. Say, hey, I want this. I use it this way. I want this thing. You can either leave the feedback for that or just engage with steering committee members. We saw that at the beginning of the slide. The steering committee is very active in deciding what comes up next. We can do anything, we just can't do everything. So we have to take a little bit at a time and prioritize what needs to come up first. Make your voices heard. make your opinions known, get it out there and let them know what it is that you want to see. The other thing is, as we've also said, this is not a one and done. This is a ongoing project that we'll be working on for the foreseeable future. Our ultimate goal for this is for all student information to be available within Atlas, so you don't have to click on the other applications menu at all. It'll all be right there in one place. You search for the student, you can see all their information without leaving Atlas. And then finally, I want to remind you again to use the feedback and suggestion form. I've circled those where they're available both within the application and on the Atlas card in My Missouri State. And as always, my team does a great job. They've done a fantastic job with this. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of them. If you have positive feedback, please use that form and send it back to them, because I want to take the information back to them and let them know that they've done a great job and it's made your life easier. So, and that's all I have. I really appreciate everybody's worked on this, and I'm really proud of it. So Ross, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thanks, Brian. So I have been looking through the chat feature. I know that there have already been several questions. Please feel free to continue to use the chat feature. We still have about 15 minutes left. I appreciate Melissa and Kelly and Brian and all others who are answering questions. Again, while more questions come in, I just want to mention thank you all for being here. Atlas, as Brian mentioned, and others, it is your system. And the fact that we have nearly 150 people on this in this Zoom meeting for an academic advisor forum is phenomenal. So I think that speaks highly of you all being interested in the new system, wanting to learn it, so you can continue to do the best when working with students. Second, thank you again to the steering committee members, to the developers, to Melissa Warren. Again, I didn't know how much work went into this until I had the opportunity to be on this steering committee. And the fact that we have an in-house custom system is incredibly meaningful. When you have the opportunity to go to advising conferences, there's always lots of vendors, lots of demos. And in my experience working with some of those vendors, you may not always get what you think you're getting. And I can say with our MIS team and those who are working on the steering committee, they're doing everything they can to make this system what it needs to be for you all. So again, just a significant shout out to everyone in MIS, the steering committee, who have worked really, really hard to make this system what it is today. And here's the thing, it's only going to get better. So it is only going to continue to improve. It's only going to continue to grow. As far as early alerts, there was a section there in Atlas that I don't think we discussed, but I'm going to share my screen one last time and just mention it. Let me pull up Boomer again. And it's this insights. So if you notice, I ended on academic indicators and then Vaughn went to support team. Insights is going to be an opportunity for us to view data to help determine which students may need us the most. So there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be incorporated into Insights, including BoomerBot, which hopefully most of you or all of you have heard of BoomerBot. It's our text messaging system that is sending out messages to all students, and we're getting feedback from BoomerBot on how students are doing. It's a pulse check for our students. And then we get the information as advisors, as associate deans that, hey, here are some students who replied to Boomer and said, I'm struggling. And so that's going to be something that we're going to be able to incorporate into this Insights. And that's something that I'm really excited about, because for years we've kind of dreamed in the advising community of an early alert system. And this Insights is really going to provide us an opportunity to be even more proactive when working with our advisees.
Hey, Ross, I was going to say, before you closed
that's
the
okay.
screen, I did want to just give a quick visual indicator. I did a demo with College of Ag yesterday.
Sure.
And notice the tabs at the top that open, when you see those purple kind of icon tabs in the browser line. So you've got, default atlas, request form atlas, student profile, student week at a glance. Those are the ones that have the purple in the icon of that tab in your browser. That's going to tell you where you're at. So anything that has the purple, it looks like an E or a B. I'm not sure what that little icon is. And I'm at the very top of your browser, Ross. So all of your browser tabs that are open, and even you see dashboard. That's the degree works or the degree audit. The indicator, so Ross, would you click on Student Week at a Glance in your tabs at the very top of your page, your browser?
Sorry, Kelly. I think mine looks a little different than.
No, you're right there. You're there where you need to be. Okay, so go
Okay.
to Student Week at a
Oh, there we
Glance.
go.
Yeah.
Got it.
So notice how the tab at the top of this screen is now purple or blue. That's going to give you a visual indicator that you're in a banner created page. Okay. So when you see that visual change, just know that you are out of Atlas and into a banner page. And so when you're done with that page, you can close it or leave it open. And then that's another visual cue. I was sharing that with the College of Ag folks yesterday, that it's just kind of a good reminder that when you've hit that purple bar, that's telling you you're in a banner provided form. And so that's another thing to kind of keep in mind.
Okay. And some of you may have noticed as we were, as Yvonne was presenting information, I would click on certain things and it was slow. I also forgot to mention we are in the test system because again, this session's being recorded. So we were using Boomer Bear. And so the live production, the system that's actually in production that all of us are going to be using will be much quicker than what was demonstrated today in the test system. We had to use tests because we want to post this on the Most State Advising YouTube channel. And for obvious reasons, we're not going to post any student information at all. Okay, I think Melissa and Brian have been doing great monitoring the chat. Brian, anything in the chat that we need to talk about in the next few minutes that came up that maybe someone didn't have an opportunity to read through?
I think we answered everything, but if we didn't, please feel free to put the comments or suggestions in the feedback form and we'll get back to you. We try to get back to every single person personally to talk about what you put in there. I've noticed a lot of things people have been asking for are things that we've already anticipated and that we're working on. There's the permanent address and email and phone number. That's one of the things that we're working on. Enhanced student schedules, something that we're working on. Both of those things have both come up. So I didn't see anything else in there. A few suggestions that we hadn't thought of, so we'll get those on the list too.
Okay.
I think we got everything covered.
Awesome. And know that there will be a recording of the chat feature as well. So we will make sure that we'll go back through these suggestions, comments. We have an upcoming steering committee meeting here, I think, in the next 1 to 2 weeks. So that will be a great opportunity for us to start looking through some of the notes that you all provided today. I also wanted to mention, I know a few of you during the advisor forum today have sent me some emails about needing access to certain things. Please go ahead and use the ticket feature in order to do that because MIS is monitoring that to make sure that they can keep track of who has access. So if you email me during this advisor forum, again, I'm happy to forward it on, but it would probably be just as easy and even more efficient for you to just fill out a ticket to have that access granted. Okay. Well, again, thank you all for being here for today's advisor forum. I hope to see many of you at the Makata conference here on campus on Friday. If not then, please make sure that you review the advisor forums that we're going to offer for the rest of the fall semester. I hope to see many of you at future advisor forum events. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day.